Imagine the dust of ancient caravans still clinging to the earth beneath your feet. The air is thick with the perfume of cumin, saffron, and ripening apricots. Somewhere, a merchant's voice rises above the crowd, bargaining in a dozen tongues, while sunlight glints off glazed tiles the color of the sky itself. This is Uzbekistan, the beating heart of the Silk Road, where continents met and civilization moved. Stretching across 448,978 square kilometers at the center of Central Asia, Uzbekistan is a land of striking contrasts. The vast wind-scoured Kizilkum Desert in the west, snow-fed rivers like the Amu Darya and Sir Darya carving life through arid plains, and the Fergana Valley, one of the most fertile regions in Eurasia, cradled by mountains and orchards. Today, more than 36 million people call this land home, heirs to a cultural legacy forged by over 2,500 years of uninterrupted exchange. Uzbekistan's destiny was written by geography. Sitting astride the main east-west arteries of the Silk Road, it became an indispensable link between China, India, Persia, the Mediterranean, and the steppe world. Long before maritime trade reshaped global commerce, caravans carrying silk, jade, paper, spices, precious metals, and horses converged here, sometimes numbering thousands of camels, transforming cities into engines of wealth and knowledge. History arrived early and often. In 329 BCE, Alexander the Great marched into Sogdiana, founding cities and marrying into local nobility to secure control of this crucial crossroads. Centuries later, Arab armies brought Islam in the 8th century, turning cities like Bukhara into centers of theology and scholarship. By the 9th and 10th centuries, the region was producing some of the greatest minds of the medieval world, astronomers, physicians, and philosophers whose works would later fuel the European Renaissance. Then came the storm of the Mongol invasions in the 13th century. Under Genghis Khan, cities were devastated, populations shattered, and trade networks temporarily silenced. Yet from this destruction arose a rebirth. In the late 14th century, a conqueror from near modern-day Shahrazabs reshaped Central Asia. Timur, known in the West as Tamerlane. Under Timur and his descendants, Uzbekistan entered a golden age, the Timurid Renaissance. Samarkand became the jewel of the Islamic world, rebuilt with monumental ambition. Architects, artisans, astronomers, and calligraphers were brought from across Eurasia to create a city meant to rival Baghdad and Cairo. The result still stands today: soaring madrasas, vast mosques, and mausoleums clad in turquoise and cobalt tiles, their geometry reflecting both mathematical precision and cosmic symbolism. Cities like Bukhara and Khiva flourished alongside Samarkand. Bukhara earned renown as a spiritual capital of Islam, boasting hundreds of mosques, madrasas, and caravanserais. Khiva, encircled by mud brick walls rising from the desert, became a perfectly preserved Silk Road oasis, its skyline of minarets and domes a mirage made real. But Uzbekistan was never just a corridor for goods. It was a marketplace of ideas. Paper-making technology traveled west through these cities. Astronomical tables compiled in Samarkand informed navigation far beyond Central Asia. Medical texts by scholars like Avicenna, Ibn Sina, born in the region, became standard references in Europe for centuries. Languages, religions, artistic styles, and cuisines blended here, leaving a cultural palimpsest layered through every brick and bazaar. Today, walk through Uzbekistan's ancient cities and the Silk Road feels less like history and more like memory. The Registan square of Samarkand still commands awe, its madrasas aligned like guardians of time. In Bukhara, narrow alleys lead to domed trading halls where merchants once sold silk and spices beneath vaulted ceilings designed to amplify sound and shade. In Khiva, the old city of Itchan Kala, now the UNESCO World Heritage Site, glows at sunset as it has for centuries. Uzbekistan endures as it always has, a meeting place, between desert and valley, between east and west, between past grandeur and a future shaped by the same forces that once made it legendary: movement, exchange, and human connection. This is not merely a country you visit. It is a crossroads you step into, where history still whispers through the dust and the Silk Road never truly ended. Today, a powerful current is reshaping the way the world travels. Family ancestry and heritage travel is surging, driven by DNA testing, digitized archives, and a growing desire to reconnect generations through shared origin stories. Global heritage tourism is projected to reach $7.5 billion in 2025, with research from travel industry analysts and demographic studies showing a 60% rise in multi-generational trips over the past decade. Grandparents are leading the charge. 71% have already taken multi-generation journeys, and more than half plan to travel again, not for leisure alone, but for legacy. In this movement, Uzbekistan rises as one of the world's most powerful heritage destinations, not because it promises luxury, but because it offers something rarer: continuity. This is where family stories intersect with global history, where surnames, crafts, foods, and faiths once moved along caravan routes that bound east and west for centuries. In this epic narrative, we follow a multi-generational journey: grandparents carrying inherited memories, parents navigating living traditions, children encountering history not as dates, but as places they can touch. Together, they retrace the Silk Road not as tourists, but as participants in an ongoing human story. Archaeology reinforces these connections. Recently analyzed silk fragments and textile dyes, uncovered at Central Asian sites and dated using modern spectrometry, have helped close decades-long gaps in Silk Road scholarship, confirming trade links between China, Sogdiana, Persia, and the Mediterranean, once debated for over 40 years. Oral histories preserved in Uzbek families, stories of caravan guards, weavers, scholars, and traders add flesh to stone and thread to theory. This is not about miles logged. It is about miles remembered. Tashkent, the gateway between eras. Our multi-generational journey begins in Tashkent, Uzbekistan's vibrant capital and the historic eastern gateway to the Silk Road. Home to 2.5 million people, Tashkent is a city of layers, where Soviet-era boulevards, modern glass towers, and Timurid-inspired mosques coexist. Its resilience defines it. In 1966, a powerful earthquake destroyed more than 300,000 homes, prompting one of the largest urban reconstruction efforts in Soviet history. What emerged was a city rebuilt not only in concrete, but in confidence. Arrival itself is ceremonial. At Tashkent International Airport, a private guide welcomes your family with naan bread and dried fruits, a gesture rooted in caravan culture, where bread symbolized peace and safe passage. This small ritual sets the tone. Hospitality here is inherited, not invented. Families settle into accommodations designed for connection. The Hyatt Regency Tashkent offers comfort and accessibility for elders, while boutique guest houses such as Art Hostel provide interconnecting rooms, courtyards, and gardens where children can roam freely, spaces that encourage storytelling across generations. Day one unfolds in Chorsu Bazaar, one of Central Asia's oldest and largest markets. Beneath its vast blue-tiled dome, commerce hums as it has for centuries. Spices mound in saffron, cumin, and coriander, bolts of silk catch the light. Ceramics echo patterns once traded from Persia to China. This is where grandparents pause, not to shop, but to remember. Here, ancestral tales of merchants and travelers feel suddenly plausible, grounded in sound and scent. Children taste halva and dried fruits, discovering that history can be sweet. As evening falls, the family gathers in a local home for a traditional cooking class. Together, generations prepare plov, Uzbekistan's national dish and a Silk Road staple. Lamb browns slowly, carrots soften, rice absorbs spice and thyme. This meal, once cooked in massive cauldrons to feed entire caravans, becomes a shared ritual, hands stirring, stories flowing. Anthropologists note that plov recipes vary by region and lineage, making it as much a cultural archive as a dish. Here, the journey clarifies its purpose. Uzbekistan is not simply a destination on the Silk Road. It is where families rediscover themselves within history. From Tashkent's modern pulse to the ancient cities ahead, Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, this journey will stitch generations together, tracing routes once traveled by ancestors known and unknown. The caravan is ready, the road remembers, and the Silk Road, at last, leads home into the Fergana Valley. Silk, soil, and shared lineage. From Tashkent, the journey turns eastward, climbing through mountain passes before descending into the Fergana Valley, Central Asia's most fertile basin and one of the Silk Road's most productive craft centers. Sheltered by the Tian Shan Mountains and lying at 300 to 500 meters above sea level, Fergana's irrigated plains have sustained settled life for millennia. Classical Chinese chronicles already described this region as Deyuan, famed for its horses and silk intermediaries as early as the 2nd century BCE. Mulberry groves once lined these valleys, feeding silkworms that transformed raw cocoon into China's most coveted export. While silk originated in China, Fergana became a critical processing and weaving hub, transmitting techniques westward through Sogdian and Persian trade networks. Margolin, the living heart of silk. In Margolin, long considered Uzbekistan's silk capital, families step inside a working silk workshop, often at enterprises such as Yodgorlik, where techniques predate industrialization. Artisans unwind cocoons in steaming vats, a process unchanged for centuries, then dye threads using natural pigments, indigo, pomegranate rind, walnut husk, before weaving them into ikat, adras, and atlas patterns on wooden hand looms. Ikat here is not decorative alone, it is genealogical. Patterns were historically associated with regions and families, passed down as visual signatures. Children and parents participate in tying warp threads for resist dyeing, discovering how precision and patience determine the final design. This tactile experience echoes rare historical records. 7th century Sogdian murals uncovered in Samarkand and Panjakent depict extended families traveling together in caravans, exchanging silk textiles for horses and silver, evidence that trade was often a family enterprise, not an individual pursuit. Registan, earth, fire, and continuity. A short drive brings the family to Registan, Central Asia's most revered pottery center. Here, clay drawn from local iron-rich red earth is shaped into bowls and plates, then glazed in luminous blues derived from ishkor, a plant-based alkaline flux unique to the region. Archaeological finds from Afrasiab, ancient Samarkand, confirm that Registan-style ceramics were already circulating along Silk Road routes by the 9th century, prized for both durability and symbolism. In a hands-on masterclass, 3 generations mold clay together, an exercise in patience, coordination, and shared creation. That evening, the family stays in a Fergana homestay, where long tables replace screens. Over shashlik skewers, bread, and tea, stories unfold, mirroring the communal atmosphere of historic caravanserais, where strangers became temporary kin through shared meals and mutual reliance. Samarkand, where empires converged. The road now stretches westward, 7 hours across steppe and mountain corridors, to Samarkand, one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited cities. Founded in the 8th century BCE, conquered by Alexander the Great in 329 BCE, and reborn as the capital of Timur, Tamerlane, in the late 14th century, Samarkand stands as a living archive of empire. Families check into the Registan Palace Hotel, ideally positioned near the city's symbolic heart. Registan Square, knowledge as power. Morning light reveals Registan Square, framed by 3 monumental madrasas, Ulugh Beg, 1417 to 1420, Sherdor, 1619 to 1636, and Tilya Kori, 1646 to 1660. Their turquoise mosaics and geometric patterns are not mere ornamentation. They encode astronomical, mathematical, and philosophical knowledge once taught here. Ulugh Beg himself, Timur's grandson, was one of the Islamic world's greatest astronomers. His star catalogue, compiled here, remained the most accurate in the world for over 2 centuries. Grandparents recount legends of Timur's lineage, including Babur, founder of the Mughal Empire. His memoirs, the Baburnama, describe family movements along these same routes, blending conquest with kinship. Children climb the minarets, absorbing the scale of a world once navigated on foot and horseback. Sacred memory, Gure Amir and Shah-e-Zinda. The afternoon moves inward, toward memory and faith. At Gure Amir Mausoleum, Timur's 1404 resting place, polished jade sarcophagi lie beneath a ribbed azure dome, symbolizing imperial power tempered by mortality. Nearby, the Shah-e-Zinda necropolis unfolds as a narrow avenue of mausoleums dating from the 9th to 15th centuries. It honors Qusam ibn Abbas, a cousin of the Prophet Muhammad believed to have brought Islam to the region in 676 CE. For families, the site offers a quiet moment, history experienced not as conquest, but as continuity of belief and devotion. Paper, memory, and the written road. Evening brings a final act of reconstruction at a traditional Samarkand paper mill, where artisans revive an 8th century technique introduced after the Battle of Talas. Mulberry bark is soaked, beaten, and formed into paper sheets, material once used for contracts, letters, and sacred texts. This process connects directly to rare documents such as the Sogdian letters from Mount Mug, early 8th century, which record family vyapar deals, marriage ties, and caravan logistics, proof that the Silk Road was sustained as much by correspondence and trust as by camels and coin. Here, in Samarkand, the journey clarifies its deeper meaning. The Silk Road was never only a trade route, it was a family network stretched across continents, stitched together by craft, food, faith, and memory. And in Uzbekistan, those threads remain unbroken. Bukhara, the pillar of faith and family. 4 hours west, the desert breathes differently. The land flattens, the sky widens, and Bukhara rises from the sands like a manuscript illuminated in stone. Founded over 2,500 years ago as a Sogdian oasis settlement, Bukhara flourished, where caravan routes converged around underground water channels fed by the Zarafshan River. By the 9th and 10th centuries, under the Samanid dynasty, it became one of the Islamic world's greatest centers of theology, science, and philosophy, earning the title Bukhara the Noble. UNESCO recognized its historic center in 1993, preserving one of the most complete medieval cities on Earth. Your family settles into the Sahid Zarafshan Hotel, within walking distance of the city's spiritual core. From here, history unfolds step by step. Liabi House, where time slows. The day begins at Liabi House, a serene 16th century ensemble centered on a rectangular pond shaded by mulberry trees. For centuries, this was a resting place for merchants, scholars, and families traveling together, sharing tea, news, and negotiations while children played at the water's edge. Even today, families gather here much as Silk Road traders once did. The moment collapses centuries. Grandparents reflect, parents observe, children absorb, history no longer distant, but lived. The trading domes, commerce as kinship. From the plaza, the path leads into Bukhara's famed trading domes, architectural masterpieces designed to regulate temperature and foot traffic. Toki Sarafan, where money changers once converted currencies from China, Persia, and Byzantium. Toki Telpak Furushan, the hatmaker's dome, where felt, fur, and identity intertwined. These were not anonymous markets. Trade here often followed family alliances, sealed by marriage and trust, contracts passed through generations, and reputation meant survival. Ark Fortress, power behind walls. In the afternoon, ascend the Ark Fortress, a monumental citadel dating back to the 5th century CE, continuously inhabited until the fall of the emirate in 1920. Within its walls lived generations of emirs, entire dynasties governing from behind baked mud ramparts. Museums inside reveal royal family quarters, throne rooms, and administrative chambers, offering insight into how power, lineage, and governance intertwined. This was not just a fortress, it was a city within a city, sustained by bloodlines. Threads of memory, Suzani embroidery. As evening falls, the family enters a gold embroidery workshop where women demonstrate Suzani, hand-stitched textiles traditionally crafted for weddings, dowries, and births. Passed through matrilineal lines since Timurid times, each pattern encodes protection, fertility, and continuity. Grandmothers teach daughters. Daughters teach children. The Silk Road lives not only in stone, but in thread. Khiva, the last caravan city. The final leg crosses the Kizilkum Desert, by air in 90 minutes, or by road in a long contemplative drive. At the horizon's edge, walls emerge. This is Khiva. Founded over 20,500 years ago, Khiva thrived as a vital caravan stop between Persia and the Caspian Sea. Its inner city, Itchan Kala, preserved almost entirely intact, was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1990, a rare time capsule of Silk Road urban life. You stay at the Orient Star Khiva, housed within a former 19th century madrasa, where student cells now shelter travelers retracing the past. Itchan Kala, a city frozen in time. Step through the gates, and the modern world dissolves. Mud brick walls enclose over 50 monuments, minarets, mosques, palaces, arranged exactly as they were when caravans arrived at dusk. At the Kunya Ark Citadel, explore the Khan's residence, throne room, treasury, and harem quarters, offering rare insight into domestic life at the apex of Silk Road power. Here, family structure shaped governance, wives, heirs, and alliances influencing policy as much as armies. Nearby, enter the Juma Mosque, its forest of 218 carved wooden columns, some dating to the 10th century, each unique, reused, and re-sanctified over centuries. The columns whisper continuity, old supports new, generation after generation, weaving the past. The journey concludes in a carpet-weaving workshop where artisans reconstruct motifs traced to Sogdian murals. Banquet scenes depicting extended families reclining on carpets, sharing food and music. Hands move rhythmically, patterns emerge slowly, children try a knot, parents listen, elders smile. This is how the Silk Road endured, not through conquest alone, but through families who carried culture forward, one journey at a time. As the sun sets over Khiva's walls, the truth becomes clear. The Silk Road was never just a route across continents. It was a network of families, bound by trust, craft, and memory. And here in Uzbekistan, that inheritance still breathes. The caravan has arrived, not at a destination, but at its origin. Let the journey live on. This multi-generational reconstruction honors ancestry not as nostalgia, but as living memory. As DNA-based heritage travel accelerates, families increasingly uncover genetic links to ancient trade corridors through autosomal markers common in Central Asian populations, revealed by platforms like Ancestry DNA and 23andMe, whose datasets show Uzbekistan as one of Eurasia's most genetically diverse regions, shaped by millennia of migration, intermarriage, and commerce. These results echo history. The Silk Road was not a line on a map, but a bloodstream where families carried goods, genes, and stories across continents. Written records affirm what DNA now reveals. In the 14th century, Moroccan scholar Ibn Battuta passed through Transoxiana, describing Uzbek and Turkic merchant families traveling together, men negotiating trade, women managing households and finances, children raised on the road between caravanserais. His accounts speak of lineage as currency, where trust was inherited and reputation guarded across generations. Archaeology deepens the story. At Mengchaktapa in the Fergana Valley, recent excavations uncovered silk fragments and burial goods preserved in elite tombs, textiles woven with Chinese thread, dyed with Central Asian minerals, and patterned in Persian motifs. These artifacts, filling decades-long research gaps, confirm what oral histories long maintained. Families were the infrastructure of Silk Road trade, safeguarding knowledge through bloodlines rather than borders. To walk Uzbekistan today is to walk beside them. Grandparents recognize echoes of ancestral resilience. Parents trace craft traditions that survived conquest and empire. Children stand beneath domes older than nations and feel continuity take root. As Uzbekistan's turquoise mosaics dim beneath the desert night, one truth endures. Heritage is the ultimate family mile, not measured in distance, but in connection, not preserved in museums, but carried forward through shared journeys. To reconstruct the Silk Road is to reconstruct belonging, to follow roots that bind generations across time, culture, and memory. Embark, discover, endure. Thanks for joining this Silk Road homecoming. Subscribe for more journeys where history lives on. Until next time, let the caravan carry your legacy.